It all started, as these things so often do, with a whisper on the internet. In the sweltering late summer of 2025, a digital wildfire began to smolder in the darkest corners of social media before erupting into a full-blown inferno of public panic. The bombshell was simple, shocking, and honestly, perfectly engineered to provoke maximum outrage. FIFA, the grand overlord of global soccer, was allegedly pulling the 2026 World Cup from the United States. Imagine the collective gasp, the spit takes over morning coffee, as millions of American soccer fans, a group that has patiently waited decades for the sport's biggest spectacle to return to their shores, were suddenly told the party was being moved next door. The initial posts were vague, citing sources and internal discussions, but the message was as clear as a referee's whistle. A seismic shift was underway. The rumor didn't just appear, it metastasized. The algorithm, that soulless, engagement-hungry beast, did its job with ruthless efficiency, pushing the story into the feeds of anyone with even a passing interest in soccer, politics, or just good old-fashioned drama. News alerts buzzed on phones, group chats lit up with frantic questions. At the core of this spectacular fabrication was a simple, yet potent explanation: the return of Donald Trump to the White House and his administration's stringent immigration policies. According to the viral posts, FIFA had been inundated with thousands of complaints, players, coaches, and international fans who allegedly refused to travel to the United States. The rumor posited that navigating a complex, potentially unwelcoming entry process was a deal-breaker for the global soccer community. This wasn't just a logistical problem, it was a moral one. FIFA was taking a principled stand against a political climate it deemed incompatible with the World Cup spirit of global unity. The narrative was devilishly clever, built on a kernel of plausibility. International sports bodies have raised visa concerns before. The idea FIFA would worry about athletes and fans facing travel hurdles isn't absurd, but the rumor twisted that concern into a crisis. It painted mass boycotts. It showed FIFA tearing up years-long agreements and scrambling a massive logistical shift on very short notice. The story made the US look like a pariah state, too toxic for the world's most popular sport. Posts claimed Canada, already a co-host for a few games, was being lined up to absorb the entire US portion. If Twitter and Facebook were the kindling, then TikTok was the gallon of gasoline poured onto the fire. The platform's algorithm, designed to identify and promote emotionally resonant content, proved to be the perfect vehicle for a story this explosive. Within hours, the FIFA rumor was transformed into a barrage of short, dramatic videos. Creators stitched together clips of news anchors, spliced in images of Donald Trump, overlaid with ominous music and bold declarative text. USA banned from World Cup 2026, FIFA chooses Canada over Trump's America. One of the most viral videos, which garnered millions of views, featured what appeared to be a news report with a slick, professional-looking anchor. However, eagle-eyed viewers and fact-checkers quickly noticed something was off. Even more damning, as platforms like Snopes later pointed out, the video itself was tagged with a creator label that read, "Creator labeled as AI-generated," a confession hiding in plain sight yet missed by the millions who shared it as gospel truth. The TikTok ecosystem became a feedback loop of outrage. One video would present the rumor as fact, and other users would then use the platform's duet or stitch features to add their own reactions. These reaction videos were often even more emotional, featuring creators expressing shock, anger, or, in some cases, glee. Each new video acted as a fresh endorsement of the original lie, creating a digital avalanche of confirmation. The sheer volume of content made the rumor feel inescapable and, to many, credible. If hundreds of different people are all saying the same thing, it must be true, right? This is the logical fallacy upon which so much of social media's power is built. For some creators, the truth of the story was irrelevant. The FIFA rumor was a trending topic, and jumping on the bandwagon was a surefire way to generate views, likes, and follows. Just as the digital hysteria reached its crescendo, the cavalry arrived with weary expressions and heavily annotated documents. Respected fact-checkers like Snopes and Yahoo News and various international news agencies began publishing detailed debunks. They did the methodical, unglamorous work. They went looking for actual evidence. Reporters reached out to FIFA's official press office. They contacted the United States Soccer Federation. They scoured the databases of every major news outlet on the planet. Their findings were unanimous. There wasn't a single, solitary shred of credible evidence to support the claim. The fact-checkers patiently laid out the truth. FIFA had made no statements about moving the World Cup. They pointed out that while immigration and visa processes are always a logistical consideration for a World Cup, these issues are addressed through diplomatic channels and special arrangements. They explained that the United States was, in fact, simultaneously preparing to host the FIFA Club World Cup in June 2025, an event that would serve as a major operational test for the main event a year later. One of the most crucial contributions from the fact-checkers was the exposure of the AI-generated video. Snopes highlighted the AI-generated label and showed how these tools create highly realistic but utterly false content. By dissecting the video and showing their work, they provided the public with a crucial lesson in modern media literacy. They weren't just saying, "This is false," they were showing how it was faked, empowering users to be more critical of the content they encounter in their feeds. While the internet was busy self-immolating over a phantom controversy, the actual organizers of the 2026 FIFA World Cup were, well, working. The reality on the ground was steady, forward progress. The 2026 tournament was always designed as a historic tri-nation endeavor: United States, Canada, Mexico, 11 in the United States, 3 in Mexico, 2 in Canada. Pulling the United States out would have dismantled the whole foundation. Preparations across the United States were continuing and accelerating. MetLife, SoFi, pitch modifications, enhanced security, media facilities, transit planning upgrades, pitch modifications, enhanced security, media facilities, transportation logistics, fan zones, security protocols, coordinating with federal and international bodies. In April 2025, FIFA announced 14 new team base camps across the country, a detail that makes the idea this operation was being scrapped ludicrous. As fact-checkers noted, the U.S. was set to host the expanded FIFA Club World Cup in June 2025, a dress rehearsal for 2026. FIFA entrusted the U.S. with this high-profile competition: confidence, not concern. The tri-nation model was a central selling point from the start. The real story: complex, cross-border cooperation, a narrative of progress and partnership. Ultimately, the plans for 2026 promise a World Cup that is bigger, more inclusive, more geographically ambitious than any that has come before. The 2025 FIFA rumor serves as a perfect case study in the dark arts of misinformation and the psychology that makes us so susceptible to it. The primary reason such stories gain traction is a powerful cognitive bias known as confirmation bias. We're all naturally inclined to seek out, interpret, and remember information that confirms our pre-existing beliefs. For those who already held a negative view of the Trump administration and its impact on America's global standing, the rumor that FIFA was pulling the World Cup felt, well, intuitively correct. Stories that evoke strong emotions, especially anger, fear, outrage, are far more likely to be shared than neutral factual statements. The FIFA rumor was a cocktail of potent emotional triggers: national pride, political animosity, the fear of missing out on a once-in-a-generation event. When our emotions are running high, our critical thinking skills tend to take a nosedive. Social media algorithms are explicitly designed to capitalize on this human trait, prioritizing engagement above all else. One of these shortcuts is social proof. If a lot of people seem to believe something, we're more likely to assume it's true. Finally, there's the issue of source decay, or what's called the sleeper effect. Even if a person is initially skeptical of a rumor, repeated exposure can make it seem more plausible over time. You might see a sketchy TikTok video and dismiss it, but then you see it mentioned in a group chat, then referenced in a meme, and then you see a friend's angry post about it. The lie becomes detached from its untrustworthy source and begins to feel like common knowledge, lodging itself in the collective consciousness as a stubborn, hard-to-kill zombie fact. Once you strip away the layers of rumor and misinformation, the actual story of the 2026 FIFA World Cup remains incredibly exciting, and honestly, far more interesting than the fake controversy. First and foremost, it's going to be the largest World Cup in history. The field is expanding from the 32-team format to a massive 48 teams. This change means more nations will have the opportunity to participate, bringing new stories, new stars, new passion. This expansion necessitates a new tournament structure, leading to a grand total of 104 matches. More soccer for everyone, more drama, more breathtaking goals, more nail-biting penalty shootouts. The real story isn't one of division, but of a Herculean effort in North American cooperation, bringing together diverse cultures and communities under the banner of the beautiful game. Fans will have the unique opportunity to experience the distinct soccer cultures of Mexico, the United States, and Canada. The journey between host cities will be a continental adventure, showcasing vast and varied landscapes. Questioning what you see is no longer cynicism, it's civic and digital hygiene. The first step is always check the source. If a story as monumental as the World Cup being moved is true, it won't be broken by @SoccerFan92 on TikTok. It will be the lead story on every major news network. The absence of credible reporting is a major red flag. Stay focused on the real, verified plans for an extraordinary event. Channel energy into celebrating the host cities, learning about the new teams that will qualify, anticipating the festival of sport that will unite a continent. Ultimately, the final whistle has blown on this rumor. The truth won, even if it had to chase the lie down the field for a few laps. Build our immunity to the next wave of misinformation. Place your trust in facts, not hype. The 2026 World Cup is coming to North America, and that's a fact worth sharing.